JBNN, we keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, businessman shot dead at Sentence Bay home, gun stolen. A businessman was gunned down and his licensed farm stolen in Sentence Bay on Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified as 41-year-old Andrew Dawkins of Gully Road, Sentence Bay in the parish. Police report that Dawkins was in his community when he was pounced upon by unknown assailants who opened fire, hitting him. His licensed 9mm Glock pistol was reportedly stolen in the process. The police were called to the scene and he was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Gunman kills two in Westmoreland. Detectives assigned to the Area 1 Major Investigations Division are probing an incident in which two people were shot and killed in Froome, Westmoreland on Friday night. The deceased have been identified as 51-year-old Michael Johns, otherwise called Robert, a carpenter of Bulk District, and 20-year-old Vivian Brown of Prospect District, both in Westmoreland. Reports are that about 4 p.m., Johns and Brown were at home when they were pounced upon by a lone gunman who opened fire, hitting them. Police were alerted and they were taken to the Salomar Public General Hospital, where Johns was pronounced dead and Brown was admitted for treatment. Brown later succumbed to her injuries. Jerk vendor killed in road crash in Portland. A popular jerk vendor in Portland died in a motor vehicle accident on Sunday morning after a car he was driving ran off the road and over a precipice and landed some 300 feet below. He has been identified as 60-year-old Gilbert Hall, popularly known as Honest John, of a land settlement address in Portland. Police sources have reported that Hall, who attended a wake at Ginger House in the Upper Rio Grande Valley, was driving home about 2 a.m. when the Toyota Corolla station wagon he was driving crashed. Some hours later, residents reportedly spotted a car in the ravine. A search party discovered Hall's motionless body trapped inside the wrecked vehicle, which had overturned. He was later pronounced dead. Over 180 assorted rounds of ammunition found in shopping bag in Kingston. The Elliston Road Police seized 183 assorted rounds of ammunition during an operation on Upper West Avenue, Elliston Road in Kingston on Saturday. Reports are that about 7:30 a.m., a police team conducted a targeted raid when the ammunition was found in a shopping bag at the rear of a premises. 100 of the rounds were 5.56 cartridges and 80 were 9mm cartridges. No one is arrested in connection with the seizure. Sentenced siblings charged for beating their father. A sister and brother were charged with wounding with intent after they attacked their father in Endeavour District in Wattown, Senton on Saturday, June 10. Charged are 47-year-old Carissa Barnett and the 34-year-old Ryan Barnett, both of an Endeavour District address. Reports from the Wattown police are that about 8:30 p.m., the siblings got into a confrontation with their father, during which Ryan used a metal pipe to hit him on the head. The man fell to the ground and was kicked in the stomach repeatedly by Carissa. A tussle ensued among the three, and the father, who managed to escape, reported the matter to the police. The siblings were arrested on Tuesday and were subsequently charged. Their court date is being finalized. JCF widens probe of road cops amid claims they are part of robbery crew. The police have broadened their investigation of two policemen implicated in a multi-million-dollar home invasion robbery amid claims that they are part of a band of road cops who are behind a string of high-stakes heists. Already, police commanders in several divisions are pouring over months of robbery reports with similar modus operandi to the approximately $14 million heist at the St. Andrew home of a Chinese businessman on June 6. In the caught-on video incident, the two constables were assigned to the St. Andrew South Police Division reportedly gained entry to the house by claiming that they were there to investigate a case of uncustomed goods. They were pointed out during an identification parade last week and will be interviewed in the presence of the attorneys, police officials confirmed. Men claiming to be cops used the similar rules to gain entry to the Hopefield Avenue, St. Andrew home of another Chinese businessman where they stole approximately $20 million on March 3. This incident was also recorded by a home surveillance camera. Dalton Yap, president of the Chinese Benevolent Association, CBA Jamaica chapter, said he's aware of 2 or 3 other cases since last December that have not been reported to the police. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzbailey confirmed that detectives are conducting a very wide investigation, but declined to comment on allegations that the constables were part of a band of robbers. We have broadened our investigation. We are looking at reports of a similar nature to see if there are any relationships to previous cases. That's all I will say, Bailey, head of the Police Criminal Investigation Branch, said. But according to one law enforcement source, the band of road cops are the prime suspects in a string of robberies mainly across the corporate area that targeted Chinese business operators. They have gone to homes and business places, especially the wholesales in downtown Kingston, said the source, who did not want to be named because he was not authorized to speak publicly about the probe. The two constables implicated in the June 6 robbery, each of over 10 years of service. They were apprehended at the Norman Mann International Airport in Kingston the following day as they were about to board a flight destined for the United States, the police have confirmed. Some of the stolen cash was found in their possession, the source claimed. One of them, you could see his face clear, said the source, referring to the video footage of the incident. Yap, who is the Justice of the Peace, previously said that allegations of police involvement in attacks on Chinese business operators are very scary, notwithstanding that we have to go deal with the common criminals out there. When you have the police who are now in cahoots with the criminals, that's a horse of an entirely different color, he said. DPP wants retrial if Tesha Miller conviction overturned. Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Paula Llewellyn, has urged the Court of Appeal to order retrial if it finds reasons to overturn Tesha Miller's conviction for ordering the death of former Jamaica Urban Transit Company chairman Douglas Chambers in 2008. Llewellyn says Miller's appeal has no merit, but if the court finds any, it should allow the state to retry the alleged leader of the Spanish Town-based Gunsman gang who was convicted on a charge of accessory before and after the fact. The DPP made her assertions on Friday as the Court of Appeal completed hearing oral arguments in the case Miller's brought against his 2019 conviction. Miller, through his attorneys John Clark and Isaac Buchanan, has argued that he was found guilty in an unfair trial presided over by a biased judge, Georgina Fraser. The prejudicial evidence said in this particular case was severely overwhelming, incredibly wrong, and unfair to the accused, and that based on that, this court cannot be satisfied that at trial no miscarriage of justice had occurred, Clark told the three-member panel of judges. Llewellyn has defended the judge for her impeccable and extremely fair conduct of the trial, notwithstanding provocation and occasional disrespect from counsel for the defense. She said, while the prosecution is very positive that the appeal will be dismissed, evidence has taught me to be a very good cricketer. You must never rest on assumptions, lest because of bad light, you misperceive the trajectory of the ball coming at you. Given the considerable and overwhelming evidentiary material that is available to the Crown and still would be, then would ask that a retrial be ordered in the light of the fact that though the incident occurred in 2008, Miller was only apprehended in 2018 October and was tried within a year, the DPP said. And since 2019, we have had the passage of about 3 years, so the Crown, in terms of fairness and delay, would not be out of time in asking that the interests of justice would be best served for a retrial to be ordered. Miller has rested his appeal on at least 13 grounds. They included requiring the judges to determine whether Miller was properly charged and settling an interpretation on the selection of the jury. Miller has also taken issue with processes involving an ex-Gunsman member who struck a plea deal and testified that he was at a meeting where Miller instructed Andre Blackman Bryan to kill Chambers. Noted that Bryan has been freed, Buchanan said the trial judge should have dismissed the case against Miller based on his interpretation of Section 35 of the Criminal Justice Administration Act. The section says, whosoever shall counsel, procure, or command any accessories before the other person to commit any felony, whether the same be one act, may be indicted as felony of common law, or by virtue of any statute passed, or one such or a substantive to be passed, shall be guilty of felony, and may be indicted felons, and convicted either as an accessory before the fact to the principal felon, together the principal felon, after the conviction of the principal felon, or may be indicted and convicted of a substantive felony, whether principal felon shall or shall not have been previously convicted, or shall not be amendable to justice, and may thereupon be punished in the same manner as any accessory before the fact to the same felon, if convicted as an accessory, may be punished. Buchanan reasoned that there can be no accessory before the fact after the principal has been acquitted, and that the rule of common law which is uncontroverted, is that there is no conviction of the principal Brian. There can be no conviction of the accessory. When the law was codified, it did not upset the common law rule. Buchanan said the Crown had the option to charge Miller for murder, but chose not to. Buchanan said the Crown had the option to charge Miller for murder, but chose not to, while conceding that Brian's indictment for murder, mentioned on others, insisted that evidence was only led against Brian. The prosecution has a different view. Crown Counsel Lorian Tugman argued that Section 35 is a discretionary provision and simply indicates the manner or the different options that the prosecution has to indict an accessory. She pointed to the use of the may in the clause. Tugman said the seminal issue for the court is whether Miller was prejudiced by indicted for the lesser offense, and the Court of Appeal will also have to settle a dispute over the interpretation of amendments to the Jury Act in 2015 and 2016. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.